Hey everybody, welcome back to the Flourgoldwizards channel. I'm Jason, a part-time gold prospector based in Wisconsin. This is definitely not Jeff Williams. This is Marty. He's my partner for the day. We've got Rigby over here, the world's most famous gold sniffing hound. And we're just down here to play and find gold today. I brought a sluice and a couple of pans and he did about the same. And we got all kinds of classifiers. And we're going to do some playing, but we do have a mission today. We've got a Patreon outing coming up pretty darn quick. And we're looking for a really good spot that we can bring dozens and dozens of people down where they can spread out on the shoreline and fill their pockets with gold. So let's get started. The last time we were at this location, it was ice underneath the water. We got down here a little bit too early, jumped the gun a little bit, but who can blame us? We're after gold, and that's exciting. But today it's just right. The water's down from the recent spring melt-off and runoff and all that, and we can access anywhere we want to in this body of water here. There's enough water that we can run sluices. There's enough water running that will have clean water. And most importantly, we're gonna have great attitudes about it. So I think what we're gonna do is pick up where we kind of left off last fall a little bit maybe. The water was extremely high up in here and we just couldn't get down in some of these areas here. My waders only go up to my, my thighs. And I don't like to wear boob high waders. So I'm gonna go ahead and test around in some of this stuff here. And if we don't find anything awesome here, we're gonna head down that way. Let's do a test pan. Now when it comes to panning, I really like this blue color right here. The contrast between the gold and this blue color really gets my eyes to chirping. I can see it way better than I can in this green pan right here. However, this Garrett Super Sluice with these giant riffles right here, these big wedges, I mean, you can plow through the material extremely fast with it. I just wish they would come out with a navy blue or royal blue like this one. I would buy 20 of them in a second. So I think what I'm going to do is take a test pan with my Garrett Super Sluice, just because it's way faster. I mean, that pan is fairly fast. Any pan really, if you know how to pan. But this one here basically does all the work for you. So I'm going to go ahead, fill that sucker up. Ooh. That's a big slobbing hog right there. Just like that. Let me get one more, get them big ones out. Yeah. Hey, let's see what's in that one. And here's that material right here. It's got a decent amount of clay material mixed in with it. And that mushy clay right there will hold that gold like nobody's business. So we'll go ahead and we'll slurry this one around a little bit. Pull some of them bigger rocks out. Now with these big riffles right underneath here, you can just settle your material and pull those big rocks right off the top, just like that. That's a really good advantage. This pan has been designed quite well. But like I said, I just wish it was blue. Yeah, we can get that down to next to nothing. And it does hold on to quite a bit of material, but only the heaviest material. Here we go. And you know you're down to the heavies when you start running into these slightly red colored rocks and a lot of black ones right here. That's the heaviest stuff there is. That's always been a good sign around here to find gold. I get that down just a hair more. And I'm going to dump that right in my blue pan. All right. Get all that in there, just like that. And then from there, we can just pull that right back. And we'll see if we wind up with anything. I do see gold already. Let me make sure. Oh yeah, I see all kinds of it. Let me get this all the way cleaned up and I'll show you. There's got to be a good 15 for sure. Hang on a second. That's pretty darn impressive for the first pan of the day. That's what keeps you coming back for more. Right there, there are roughly 20 pieces in there. A couple of them bigger than their neighbors and some extremely small ones, but gold nonetheless. All them little dots right there is golds. That's right. So I think what I'm going to do is classify up a bunch of that material. I did bring my bucket classifier, Jocelyn, down, and I brought a nice little sluice. I'm going to set up a sluice over there quickly go classify up a pail and see if we can't wind up with a really big smile. Yeah, this is some really good looking material here. And done. Well, Marty's down yonder panning away, and it didn't take too long at all. And I've got a full 3/4 of a 5-gallon pail filled up there. Got my sluice already set up. That didn't take long either. So let's go ahead, throw it on there, make sure we're running right, and most importantly, see how much gold we get. Oh, there's so much clay in that stuff. You really got to mash it around in this bucket. It's going to turn into a big bucket-shaped pile of clay if I don't do that. And it runs off a little bit slower than your run-of-the-mill sand. So it looks like we're going to have to play with this stuff just a little bit. I might need a little bit more pitch here. I think the water's good, but we're laying a little bit flat. Will we catch gold? Probably. I can still see half of these riffles up in here, but it'll take forever running it like this. Let me throw one more on there after I really give it a washing. See if that helps at all. And no, it didn't. We need a little bit more speed here. Well, I've monkeyed with this sluice just a little bit, but I did notice that from right about here down, it's running perfectly. These little drop riffles are staying about half full. All these little vortexes right here are spinning around nicely, and they're all holding on to material, and the bottom section of this mother load mat is exchanging really nicely. And I'll tell you why that's there right now. See, up at the head, I'll go up here for an example. Up at the head of the water, like right there, you can see that the water is not moving as fast. The water is coming up and then it falls right here. So if I were to move my sluice down a little further, after the water starts picking up just a little bit of speed, it would definitely wash all that material off the top. And I still could do that, and I very well may. But I just happened to notice that the sluice body itself is running probably as good as I've ever seen it run. It's doing quite well. Marty's down there. He's getting his sluice set up. He's got a great big giant 3D printed sluice he made himself. And I do believe I've seen that thing work. Last year, right, Marty?
Yeah, my son used it. He found quite a few.
Yeah, they used it last year and found a bunch of gold. So once he gets set up and running, we'll go take a little peek. Let's see what the mine boss is up to over here. He's on patrol. He already found the gold. Now he's taking a little bit of a fiver. But that doesn't mean he's not doing anything. Yeah, he's over here watching for Sam Squanch and such like that. Well, that and he's guarding our provisions. Isn't that right? You wouldn't take one without me, would you? Well, it's getting to be about 9:30 or so in the morning. Been out here a little while, not very long, but it's starting to be Ryan getting up and out of bed time. Usually he shows up around 9:30, 10 o'clock. So we'll see. I mean, he lives right over by that tree over there. Well, I didn't quite get that whole pail done yet. It's running pretty slow, and that's fine with me. I am seeing some gold up on that indicator mat right there. Yeah, hopefully you can see a couple little specks on there. I sure can. But this mat is getting chock full, absolutely full of those little black and red chips. And they're so darn heavy running this slow, they just don't exchange like you'd want to. So I'm going to go ahead and do a clean out of this one here, and then we'll run the rest, see what we wind up with. All right, I use this here tub as a safety pan. Make sure that gold gets through all that heavy black and red material. And I'll take my time a little bit just so we can see some gold. That's what we do. There. Let's see what's in there. Oh, that's looking promising already. Ooh, give me just a minute. Hey, not too darn bad for half a pail. Look at there. There's some gold in there for sure. And get that in the sun. Another little chunky one right there. All kinds of little wiry dots. There's some elongated pieces right there. Not too darn shabby at all. But I really feel like we should have done a little bit better. I did a couple of scoops out of that bucket, panned them out while we were sluicing, and I found another 20 or so colors in that little bit, which leads me to believe that we might be losing a little bit in my sluice. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pan out the rest of that material. It's probably, I don't know, a quarter, third bucket, and we'll see if there's any difference. Well, I would say the results are inconclusive. There are a couple of nicer pieces there and some more dots and whatnots. I don't have nearly 20 pieces in there like I was getting over there before, but each and every shovelful is not going to be exactly the same. It's a game of inconsistency at best, for sure, but it's still beautiful out here, and we are on some pretty darn decent gold. So I think I'm gonna do some more panning. I'm gonna pan the rest of that tub out over there, that bucket. And then we're gonna scout around just a little bit, because that's fun too. I mean, it's, I don't know, maybe in the mid 50s right now, and it's absolutely fantastic. The water isn't ice cold. Rigby's having a good old time. We're gonna go check in on Marty over there, check out his system. Guys should be here. Tell you what, let's check in on Marty first. He was over here hooting and hollering and says he can see gold.
I don't know about hooting and hollering.
Well, he was hooting anyway.
But there's a few little specks in there.
Oh, absolutely. I can see some gold up in there. Right there is a nice looking piece. Yeah.
Black sand.
Lots of black sand. That's his 3D printed sluice right there. And he's got some different style mats in there. Looks like some sawtooth, perhaps.
Yeah, they're all sawtooth, just two smaller size, and then the one section the bigger.
Yep.
Just for the big nuggets, you know.
Nice. I like it. So we'll go back and run our stuff. Oh, geez, soaking wet.
And yeah, you're gonna get wet.
Hey, we struck it rich. I don't know about rich, but we're doing pretty good. Look at that piece there. Let me get that in the shade one time and under the water. That's a nice looking chunk of gold right there. That came up with another nice piece and bunch of small dots. That was the second pan I took out of that bucket. I've got about one left or so in there. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just getting all these pans down to about yay material here, and I'm just dumping it all right in there. We'll process all that stuff at home a little bit better. Yeah, let's get that last one done, see what it looks like too. And the last of that pail, she's empty. And it's pretty darn good. Mighty good indeed. Looky here. Are you gonna get focused or what? Look at that there. There's some really nice pieces. There's probably 40 pieces right there. 3 nice big ones. Ooh, today is looking good. Yeah, money. So we'll go ahead and take that one right there. Get it over here. Yeah. And dump it. Just like such. We're going to bring that home and we're going to have a field day. That's for sure. I think I'm going to take just a little bit of a fiver. Rigby's getting anxious. Might even have a little cobble break. Then we're going to get to panning. All right, now we moved upstream a little bit just to do a little poking and prodding. And I've worked this spot before, but as you can see, the floods from the spring thaw and all that have chewed the sides away quite a bit. And a lot of the gold around here is coming from a lot of the gravel deposits in these sides and sinking down. And before I got this muddy water all muddy, it was quite clear, and you could see that it was cobbles and gravels where all the silt had washed off of it. So I took one pan out of there, and here's what's left. And I did use my green sluice here. Now it might be a little difficult to see the gold, maybe not, but there is tons of gold in there. There's all kinds of nice pieces. Look at that there. There's a nice big fat long one. All kinds of it. That was really good. So with gold like that, what we're going to do is some speed panning. And by that, I mean just getting it down to that much right there without even looking at it. It takes longer for me to pan all that back to count each and every speck than it does basically to shovel it and get it down to this much material. So I'll get it down to there, dump it in that bucket right there, and continue. We should be able to get quite a big pile of concentrates doing it like that. And I really have high hopes for today. We're on to some really nice pieces, and it's beautiful out. So let's begin again.
More over my bag, but
these guys are up here having snack time without me. What do you think you are, a hard-working miner?
he's a hard-working miner.
Yes, he is. We are doing awesome. I've got quite a pile of concentrates over there ready, and I am pulling up pan after pan after pan of this. One after the other. One after the other. Look at those pieces of gold right there. Wonder if I can zoom in out here in the wilderness. Look at that. Nice wiry looking pieces. Lots of little dots. Oh, these smokers. This is 100% going to be the best cleanup I've had in a mighty, mighty long time. And I'm loving every second of it. Get that in there. And we'll grind out the numbers, baby. Grind them out. Woo! I usually don't want to see eels in the winter. I dig them up out of the mud. There's one right now, a little American eel swimming along there. You little cute son of a gun, you. Yeah. All right, me and Rigby did 62,308 pans. My back is killing me, but we've got a ton of gold. So rather than just leave, I'm gonna fill up another pail and do another sluice run. That's pretty relaxing, right? All right, we got another big bucket here. We'll go ahead and run this one. Then I think it's time to get the heck out of here. We still got to get home. A 22-hour ride to clean this stuff up. It's going to be good. Well, I was a little bit off. I figured Ryan would be down here about 9 o'clock. It's noon o'clock. Some bark must have fell off his house.
Yep.
I think he lives.
Sleep.
Yep, he lives right over there behind a big tree that way. Well, come on down. We're getting all kinds of good gold, and it's nice out. And Gina's here, Rigby's girlfriend. Well, Ryan's grinding away over here. Gina too. And we got our sluice run done. And that's pretty darn good again. Take a little look in here one time. Let me get rid of the glare. And it's the same as it was before. Nice big long pieces like that one right there. And tons of flour in there. A couple of bigger pieces in there. Look at that one. Hot dog. And we still have this whole tub over here from all our panning and sluice runs right here. That's all full of concentrates. Look at that. Ooh-wee. This is going to be one of the best clean outs ever right here. That's for sure. So I think what I'm going to do is take a little fiber because my back is on fire. I'm going to take a walk down by Marty. He's got a new sluice in the water. And I'm just going to relax for a little while before we make the 9,402-hour ride home.
That's why we drink it here. But when we're gone from here, our friends will be drinking all the beer.
Well, we made it. 9,204-hour ride home. There's the boys right there. They had to stay home today. Well, they didn't have to, but they like to hang out with each other, and I don't like to bring all three out that far. So, first thing we need to do is grab a little something out of the fridge of wonder. That's right, because that was a mighty long ride.
That's why we drink it here. But when we're gone from here, our friends will be drinking all the beer.
Now, I've taken the liberty of classifying that material down already through a 30 mesh classifier. Here's all the material that came out of the big stuff, and that's what you wind up with when you do speed panning like that. You get it all, big stuff, little stuff, and everything in between. And here's all the minus 30 stuff right here. So I think while I don't have my cleanup sluice set up already, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of panning with the bigs. And just to make it easier on ourselves, I think I'll go ahead and remove some of these magnetics. There are quite a few, and they're big magnetics. I better put that down, dump that off, see if we can't rustle some more up and out of there. All less stuff we have to pan through. And there are surprisingly 2 pieces of gold in the bigs. That is awesome. One of which I have on the tip of my finger right there. 2 of them. That's right. Looky there. Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and snatch those on up. Gotcha. Come here, yeah. All right. I got them. I'm going to go through this one more time. And then we're going to run the littles because that's where all the gold's going to be. Oh, yeah. All right. Now we're going to see the gold. That was awesome to find 2 big pieces in the plus 30s, but the majority of it's going to be right here. So I have my cleanup sluice up and running already. We'll go ahead and feed this on there. This won't take long at all. There's only about maybe a full cup, maybe a little more than that, but this thing will chew right through it. And it's done. It's all on there. I haven't cleaned it out yet, but I did do the tailings. I caught all the tailings in this little glass container right here, and we have some losses. Well, not much. One piece, one slightly larger flat piece right there, but that's not too darn bad because I see lots of gold in there. So let's get that cleaned out and take a little peek because I know there's a whole bunch in there. And here's our gold all cleaned up. And like I said before, it's pretty good. There's some chunky pieces in there. That one right there I can pick up. It's even got a shadow. That one there is just a big old flat flake. But there's an awful lot of small gold in there for sure. So we're going to go ahead and give that a tap to the top. Look at that smile of Foreman. That's a 4-incher. Woo-wee. Well, the last time we were there, that creek beat us up a little bit. It was ice underneath the mud and ice underneath the water, and we didn't get to move hardly any material at all. And if I remember correctly, I did find one good sized flake right off the bat, and then, but we sure gave that crick a big fat lip today. We got a big pile of gold over there, and I couldn't be happier. The sweltering heat is on its way, but we beat it in a nick of time today. I see 80, mid 80s to 90 out there for the next week or so. Blech. But we'll probably go out there and have fun anyway. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We sure did. Until the next episode, like, share, subscribe. Please do leave a comment. It helps build our channel. Check out our Patreon page. It's in the description box down below. Flourgoldwizards, out.
That's why we drink it.